everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So first off, I'm really sorry about my voice. Ida's kind of sick, and now she's got me kind of sick. And then the other thing, I'm really sorry about this wind that you hear. We've got some windy days with some storms coming in, but it's like 70 degrees here, so I'm not gonna super complain about it. But anyways, today we're gonna be talking about why we should not be slamming our goats, what that looks like, how do we fix it, and then like how do we look for us to be slamming goats? Like what does slamming a goat mean? So also I want to give this caveat. I am not perfect about this. Like, there may be times whenever you hear my goats hit the ground, but I try to be very cognizant of it and try to fix it for the next ride, because we don't want to be hitting our goats hard on the ground every single time. When we hit them hard, our philosophy, belief, whatever you want to call it, is that like you're stressing them out, which is going to make them like go into fight or flight basically, and then they could start kicking. Now I get that a lot of goats nowadays are a little bit more resilient to it, to where like they don't really care anymore, like they're kind of just pets that we tie. But there are still goats out there that you draw at a rodeo that like you slam them down and like they start kicking, and then you wonder why they kick. Well, there's a good reason that you just put the fight or flight into them, and so they're going to fight in order to save themselves as an animal. It's also the psychology coming out in me. So what does slamming a goat look like, sound like? So I don't know if you've really watched like my basic flanking videos, and maybe I haven't talked about it just enough in those videos, but whenever you slam a goat, usually what's happening is the goat is hitting the ground before you do. So in slow motion, I may be going down to the ground with this goat, but this goat is literally hitting before I do, and so all my body weight is going to hit on top of this goat. So what's going to happen is I get here, and you see how like this goat, there's daylight between this goat's back and then my inner thighs, okay? And so whenever I hit, I'm hitting on top of this goat. So I'm dropping my goat in midair with my hands, even though I'm still holding it, which we'll get into. And then I'm just gonna fall on it. So that's what's happening, but a lot of times what you'll hear is like a grunting sound, or like a goat that just like lost the air. You'll hear like this sound of it. I'm not gonna do that because it's kind of cruel. So I'm not gonna make myself do that, but there are times when, you know what, sometimes we just make a mistake, and it doesn't take much to get a goat to like hit the ground hard. So here's the solution. How do we fix that for ourselves? So I know that I've talked about this before, but truly our hands have to stay with us in our flanks. So think about this. I see this a lot when girls are rushing their flanks, trying to learn how to funnel stuff, whatever that they want to do. They really like to like kind of push their goats down. So what I'll see is girls get up high here, but then as soon as they like start going towards the ground, they drop their hands, which is creating that space, and then they just land on their goats, okay? So what this may look like is you miss your flank, these legs end up underneath your knee. You may hear your goat hit. Like, there's several different things that you may see or happen within that run. So what we want to do is keep our hands with us. So I'm gonna get this goat up to my pockets. So like I want my flanking hands like up in the air. I want them to go to my pockets, okay? So once I get them here, I'm gonna sit in this flank with like a tabletop position on my legs, so that this goat sits across my legs, okay? Because if I get up here, like it's gonna be hard to hold on to this goat. So once I get this goat up here, what I want to do is stay here, open my legs, and just keep my hands with me and go down to the ground with this goat. My hands are never going to move once I get them up to my pockets, okay? So think about this. If I get this goat up, those legs are going to be pretty high whenever you add like the momentum to it. If I start to drop my hands, it's dropping that goat's body, which makes those back legs get further and further down my leg. So if you're trying to funnel or stuff, you're losing those legs. And that's like a self-inflicted thing. Like, it's not the goat. Like, you are making that, because of your hands dropping, you're making those goat's legs go further, because our hands control how high the back legs are gonna be on our thigh. So watch this. I'm gonna do a slow-mo on this one. just so that you can see. So like if I keep my hands high, this is what it'll look like. Okay, now watch this one whenever I drop my hands. Okay, so do you see the difference? And also my goat grunted on the second one. I don't know if you could hear it, but it definitely did. But, so like, we don't want to be slamming our goats down because that's defeating the whole purpose of us trying to like catch any legs in the air or really just keep control over our goats in general, okay? Because a lot of goats are gonna kick a lot with their back legs, and so this inner thigh is what kind of creates a wall for them to not be able to kick against. So we definitely want to, whenever we get our hands up to our pockets, we want them to stay there, and then we just open our knees around that goat and close them around as we're going down, and our hands stay back the whole time. If you have any questions about this, let me know. As always, please make sure that you support this channel by liking, subscribing, all the different things. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see y'all back here next week with another video.